All right, man, we back. Goodfellas Sports TV. We in the building. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Help Blaze, at thehelpblaze.com. Promo code Goodfella1Boxing. Get you 18% off the 100% all natural products from lotion, soaps, foot soaps, bath bombs, deodorant, toothpaste, hair pomade, and much, much more. Website promo code are both in the description. Use Goodfella1Boxing promo code to get 18% off one more time. For the one more time. So check that out. All the information is in the description. We on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reaching out to the email if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, or whatever. Video requests. Like I said before, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And yeah, man, let's get to it, man. Let's talk a little bit about um, Fury former trainer trying to tell Wilder the blueprint on how to beat Tyson Fury. I think this story went under the radar in the media. I think it was a little article on boxing. I seen it and I kind of went under the radar on me. And I was talking to somebody else today about it, so we can talk about that. Also, going to talk about 1 second. Uh, Also, going to talk about the DAZN don't want Canelo and Demetrius Andrade, and now the door is open for Gary Russell, Santa Cruz. But Jojo Diaz also did call out Leo Santa Cruz for a fight in LA. But the problem with that is Jojo Diaz is obligated to run it back with Tevin Farmer unless he pays some step aside money and said he's not in a rush to get in the ring with Tevin Farmer again because of his eye cut. But it seems like Jojo Diaz wants to unify with Leo Santa Cruz. So we'll see what happens. But let's start off with what Fury coach said about the fight. And I don't know if you guys saw this article, and I'll put it in the description when I get an opportunity to. I read it, but then I was talking to somebody else today about it, and it deserved its shine. I haven't seen nobody else talking about it, but the article is by in Boxing Scene from 3 days ago. Ben Davison, Davison explains what Wilder exploited in Fury in first bout. All right, and Ben Davison goes on to say, fighters have habits and tendencies, and that's what you look for as a trainer. If you do something too often for too long at the top level, you will be made to pay for it. What Wilder does is he bounces on the spot, not back, not forward, but on the spot, and it's a mental reset. Davison told BT Sports. For Fury, it's when he touches his face and wipes his nose. I know Wilder worked on that and went to throw. Something happened at the end of the 8th round when Fury got hit with the right hand on top of the head. He wiped his nose, touched his face, and a bit of a reset. Then in the 12th, there was a space behind Tyson Fury to step and to take the distance away, but he didn't do it. And I believe it was a single lapse in concentration because of the habit. It's something to be aware of when he's training. He does it. Add a step on it or add a reset where he moves, changes position, and changes position, and it's taken away. Where he said it take it away. There were sounds that went by where Wilder couldn't land. Where there was rounds went by where Wilder couldn't land. Then he found one. I think Tyson now knows he has to respect the right hand for 12 rounds, and if he can add that into his next performance, I believe he wins. So he basically is telling. He said a little bit about Wilder, but he basically telling Wilder how he can exploit um, Tyson Fury. He said when he touches his face and wipes his nose, I know Wilder will work on that and when to throw. See, right then and there, this tells you that Ben Davison isn't happy with the split with Tyson Fury. Ricky E, Classy V Boutique, C Dub, Renardo, Kobe 2K Fan, Fab, Boxing Worldwide. What's going on? See if I missed anybody. Big J, what's going on? That just tells you right then and there, you don't say something like that if you have Tyson Fury's best interest. You're not speaking on it. You're not even speaking on what he need to do to beat Wilder. You just saying it's a good fight. I ain't a part of it. Blase blah blase But Sugar Hill, who's training the Tyson Fury for the rematch, he said that Ben Davison was supposed to be part of the camp, but he chose not to be part of the camp no more. So they wanted Ben Davison to take a step back. They want Ben Davison. They wanted him to basically, take a step back and let Sugar Hill take over, and then kind of compliment Sugar Hill, all right, which is the Emmanuel Stewart's nephew out of Crunk. Dr. Blick, Courtney, Mark, what's going on? So, you know, it makes sense now. With Ben Davison talking to the media about bad habits and tendencies, he can dress it up and say tendencies is a bad habit. It's a bad habit. It's kind of like a quarterback dropping back, patting the ball before he throw the ball. It's a bad habit. You know what I'm saying? Now he's talking in the media, and this is why you can't trust people, bro. This is why it's very important not to jump around with coaches. You know what I'm saying? Because coaches have feelings too. Sparring partners have feelings too. People leak stuff out your camp. Oh, this guy got dropped in camp. This got hurt. There's no honor amongst thieves. You know what I'm saying? And Tyson Fury don't have a whole lot of loyalty, with Ben Davison or whoever. You know what I'm saying? For somebody to come out here and talk about, the things you do bad and the bad habits you have, and y'all just broke up. I mean, like I said before, that's why it's important for you to pick the right coach and stick with them, because these dudes be hating. She does say it's funny though. In the interview, Ben said Tyson and I are friends. I don't want to ruin, I think is what I mean. That, so I'm not going into it. At the end of the day, he just said it. At the end of the day, he just said I'll read it again. It's from 3 days ago. He says fighters have habits and tendencies, and that's what you look for as a trainer. If you do something too often for too long at the top level, you'll be made to pay for it. What Wilder does is he bounces on the spot, not backwards, not forward, but on the spot. It's a mental reset. For Tyson, it's when he touches his face and wipes his nose. And I know Wilder worked on that and went to throw. Something happened at the end of the 8th round where Tyson got hit with the right hand on top of the head. He wiped his nose and touched his face. It's a bit of a reset. Then in the 12th, there was a space behind Tyson to step into to take the distance away, but he didn't do it. And I believe it was a single lapse in concentration because of the habit. It's something to be aware of when he's training. He does it. Right then and there. Just that little snippet right there. He says in the 12th, there was a space behind Tyson Fury to step into to take the distance away. He didn't do it. And I believe it was a single lapse in concentration because of the habit. It's something to be aware of. When he's training, he does it. Add a step on it or add a reset where he moves, changes positions, and takes it away. So right then and there, he's revealing Fury's bad habits. He's revealing Fury's, tendencies to reset and wipe his face when he's trying to get rid of the reset. So like I said before, it's real. It's real. Solid. What's going on, Rod? What's happening? He draw snitching. Don't be surprised if he don't give Wilder a call. You know what I'm saying? Don't be surprised if he don't call Wilder like, hey, bro, you need to do this. Don't be surprised if Wilder come out and walk out to the ring, he have Ben Davison walking to the ring with him. So ain't no honor. It's no honor. You can't trust people like that, bro. If I'm Tyson Fury, I never work with him again. Under no circumstances. That just let you know that he jealous, he mad, he angry. And I don't believe that Tyson Fury wanted to get rid of Ben Davison. I think this was a family decision. His father, his wife, you know what I'm saying? And that was that type of that decision. His father ripped Ben Davison after the Otto Wallin fight. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he need to do this and he can't do that and this, that, and the third. And, if you know so much, why ain't you training your son no more? David, salute. Why ain't you training your son no more? Everybody got an opinion, and they was trying to railroad Ben Davison. You know what I'm saying? So Ben Davison feels some type of way. It's natural human nature to be jealous, to feel resent. That's natural. That's really, really natural. You know what I'm saying? When somebody got something you don't got, or got a girl you don't got, it's natural. You can't fight that feeling. As much as you say, "Oh, I don't really care," you care. You see your ex-girlfriend with another dude, it's natural. You care. You feel some type of way. Now you want her back. It's natural. But what's not natural is being a fuck nigga. That's what's not natural. That's what's not natural. What's not natural is switching teams because you're not on the home team no more, and now you want to go play for the away team. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen the Matrix? The first Matrix where my man switched sides and started working with the machines and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because he was jealous of Neo. He was mad because he couldn't be Morpheus. This is what this is. This shows you a lot about Ben Davison. If you Josh Taylor and you choosing between Adam Booth and Ben Davison, and something don't work out between you and Ben Davison, and you go train with somebody else, well, Ben Davison gonna leak stuff about you. So right then, there's no confidentiality. Ben Davison ain't solid. He not solid. You don't say nothing on the situation. You don't say, just I wish him best of luck, man. We had a great first fight. We had a great game plan. We feel we won the fight. We'll see what he do. That's it. But you sit here and you leak information out about Tyson Fury, about some of his tendencies and some of the things he don't do right in training and some of his bad habits. Like at the end of the day, Ben Davison probably rooting for Deontay Wilder to stretch Tyson Fury so he can say, you know what I'm saying? So he can say, see, I did better than Sugar Hill. See, we really beat Deontay. He got stopped by Deontay this time. Oh, see, I told you so. And once again, you got to remember, them checks he was getting from Tyson Fury was nice. You know what I'm saying? If Tyson Fury getting 15 million, you know what I'm saying? He at least bringing home what 100,000, 60,000, 100,000, 150,000. You know what I'm saying? Ben Davison was on his way to retire. He said Wilder reacted to them chats on Boxing Voices. CJ, not sure if he knows the facts, but it don't mean that Fury is in trouble. I mean, you can watch when you will do a rematch with somebody. You can watch the tape. It's habits that Deontay Wilder make. Like he said, he bounced in one place, not side to side. That's just reset. He bounced. You can watch tape and find these things out. You can watch tape and see what Fury do wrong and wipe his face. You can see when he drop his hands. You can see if he telegraphing his shots. You can see if he moving a particular way. Ben Davison he just revealed what he's seen on tape. Now, Jay Diaz and Mark Breland and Deontay Wilder, that's their job to go to look at the tape and see what Fury do wrong and what they can exploit with Fury bad habits. That's Wilder team job. This is why you watch tape. And when you watch tape, the things that I look for, first thing I look for when I watch a fighter I haven't seen before, I look at the legs. Look how he move in the ring. Look how he on his toes. Look on his angles. You know what I'm saying? In the UK, they teach hands first, feet second. It's not a good thing to do. You should teach feet first and then hands. You know what I'm saying? In the UK, they just get the punching first and then the feet eventually catch up for the majority of them. So, this is the type of things in boxing you see all the time. It's no loyalty. But the boxing coach got the hardest job in boxing, not the promoter, not the manager. Other than the fighter, it's the trainer. They don't have a contract. You know what I'm saying? Let's see got a managerial contract. They don't have a contract. Everything on a handshake agreement. I believe the promoter pays them or the fighter's supposed to pay them. A lot of times the promoter drop the money, deposit the money in the account. You know what I'm saying? They got to deal with the fighter's attitude. You got to deal with the fighter's bullshit. You got to make sure the fighter's hitting the pads and all that stuff. So it's a messed up thing. And Ben Davison, I like the game plan that he put together in the first fight with Fury. Do I think the Otto Wallin fight was his fault? No. I mean, you live and you learn. But, he going to get the grunt of the blame. But, it just shows you a lot about his character, him doing that. But Jay Thomas said, I seen on YouTube and I couldn't believe Ben was saying this before the fight, though. If you Wilder team, you definitely have to pay attention to that. They should have paid attention to that before he said it. He said that's why certain trainers only train if they're allowed to be the manager also. That makes sense. Welch is fair. What's going on? That makes sense because ain't no loyalty in this. Look at Andre Rozier and Danny Jacobs. Ain't no loyalty in that. He said Haymon said Fury is playing into Wilder's hands. Everybody can see that. Fury said he want to stand toe to toe and meet Wilder in the middle of the ring. Could that be mental warfare? Could be. Could be. Could that be really what he want to do? Could be. You know, if he want to go out there and have a slobber knocker with Wilder, I think we in for a treat. I think we gonna see something legendary. You know what I'm saying? And when people say, "Well, Wilder Fury can't crack an egg," well, if he comes in at 270 and Deontay Wilder, let's just say hypothetically comes in at 220, well, that's 50-pound weight disadvantage. Anything can happen when you put somebody with a 50-pound weight advantage versus a guy with a disadvantage. No matter if he can punch or he can't punch, anything can happen. Especially you in the cold, season where the flu season, somebody come in sick. You know what I'm saying? So it's a possibility. It's probably why he packing all that weight on. I don't think Fury anticipates this going the distance, and he got people thinking that Fury wants to give up and that he don't want to be traumatized like he was the first fight. So, like I said before, this is a 2-for-1 in this fight. You know what I'm saying? Whoever win this one get credited with the first fight and get credited with the rematch. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely think that Deontay got a lot to lose in this fight. You know what I'm saying? He seemed to be the more confident. He seemed to, if it's actually a firefight type of fight, he seemed to have more power, way more power in his hands. He seemed to be faster as well too. But I mean, we'll see how it really play out. Jason Sosa, what's going on? But you just hear stuff like this, and you understand the trainer's got a tough job. But I wouldn't really, I really wouldn't, you really can't respect. He said, "We'll wait too much. How much is Fury gonna move?" He don't plan on moving. That's what he's telling y'all. Some people can. People get like distracted by the weight. Some guys can wear that weight well. We got guys in the NFL that's 270 that can run what 4.5, 4.6. You know what I'm saying? I mean, LeBron James 260. Him and Tyson Fury. At one point LeBron was like 260 something. You know what I'm saying? And he was one of the fastest, most agile, guys on the court. Some guys can carry the weight different. Look at Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller was 300 pounds. Some guys can carry the weight different. Some guys just got the genetics to be able to move. But Fury's telling y'all he don't want to move. Fury came back with 300 pounds versus what Safari, and he moved pretty well. Fury can carry that weight, no doubt about it. General Pendant, what's going on? Fury can carry that weight. Some guys can carry. People forget he's 6'9". People forget Andy Ruiz just went out there at 290 pounds and fought AJ and went 12 rounds. Some guys, when you've been doing something for so long in boxing, these dudes know how to buy time. They know how to breathe. They know how to rest in the ring while still in the middle of the round. Danny Garcia, he wasn't in shape versus Ivan Redcash, but he bought time. He knew how to rest. He knew how to buy his time. When you do something so long, it becomes second nature. All right, you heard of Fury dipping his hands in petrol to harden his fist. No, I ain't heard of that one. You know what I'm saying? So, do what you're gonna do. You got, Andre Ward, he do the right thing with his hands. You know what I'm saying? The strength of his right. Ben Davison wouldn't ruin a chance to corner Billy Joe Saunders to badmouth Fury, Tyson Fury, right? I mean, shit, maybe he could. Him and Josh Taylor is training together. Him and Billy Joe going at it together, and maybe Billy Joe don't give a shit about that. Maybe he don't. If not, I mean, shit, Billy Joe Saunders, he ain't bringing in the money that Tyson bringing in. So never know. A lot of times, your personal, the situation at hand like this, it clouds your judgment. He probably wasn't thinking when he said it. He was just like, shit, I feel some type of way. F him. But good thing you bring up Tyson Fury to switch lanes. I mean, Billy Joe Saunders switch lanes. Well, Canelo is supposed to announce his opponent pretty soon. All right, I touched on this earlier. I didn't get as in depth as I wanted to get on this. Hold on. But yeah, the zone it said today, and I read it. Give me 1 minute. Boom, 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 boom. All right, this was sent to me today. Whew. All right, so hey, so the zone today approved Canelo Billy Joe Saunders for T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, but they also approved Callum Smith. Canelo gave the okay to Golden Boy to negotiate with both. Now it is up to Eddie Hearn and both of the fighters to see who would take the offer. Don't be surprised if Callum Smith takes it. After all, we should get an announcement today or tomorrow, but it was confirmed to me that Canelo wants to fight both fighters, but now is on Eddie Hearn how long that will take. That's why you see Billy Joe talking to Boo Boo about fighting. It was all strategy when he found out that Canelo was okay with fighting Callum Smith too. One thing I can tell you is that the Demetrius Andrade ain't getting Canelo this year because Triple G is fighting Canelo in September. There was 2 contracts sent to Eddie Hearn for both fighters. Let's see who takes the offer or who gives Eddie the chance. If Eddie is smart, he should give the chance to Callum Smith so Billy Joe Saunders can fight Boo Boo. But we have to see if Callum Smith wants it. So Murata will most likely happen in December or May 2021. So that's the situation right there. I guess I heard the zone don't think Demetrius Andrade is a big name, but they are pushing for Boo Boo and Charlo or Boo Boo and Billy Joe. It could be a racial thing. The zone is nothing but white people. Demetrius Andrade should go with PBC for real. Um, so you heard it here. So Ray Zone salute. So basically, it's up to Eddie Hearn to see, and Callum Smith and Billy Joe to see who get the Canelo opportunity shot. The fight was supposed to be announced today or tomorrow, as you heard. So it will be May 2nd, T-Mobile Arena. For me personally, it don't really matter. Callum Smith is the lineal champion at 168 pounds. I heard that he looked weight drained his last fight versus John Ryder. So that might be a situation where Canelo might jump on that, but he is 6'3" and bigger than Canelo Alvarez. But they don't care; they're gonna drain this guy, and Canelo gonna give him some business. But for Canelo, like they pay Canelo all this money to fight on his own, but what's really coming of it? They not really. I heard their viewership by Steven Espinoza is around 500,000. That's what they may be pulling in viewership per fight card. And with Canelo, he fight nobodies. He ain't Floyd Mayweather where he can just, fight Guerrero or fight a Madonna and it's a spectacle in Vegas. Canelo not selling out fights in Vegas. He didn't sell out the MGM last time, Grand Garden Arena versus Sergey Kovalev. And Sergey Kovalev has a higher profile in the United States than Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders. Callum Smith has never fought here before. This is a fight they should have tried to get in the UK or in Saudi Arabia. So I don't even know how big Callum Smith is in the United Kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make no sense. Jason said I don't see why Canelo isn't fighting Andrade other than just draining his body down to 160. Honestly, Andrade is starting to regress in my opinion. But in my opinion, he should be fighting Demetrius Andrade next. That's a fight that should happen. And Demetrius Andrade has a bigger profile than Billy Joe, and he has a bigger profile than Callum Smith. But the problem is Demetrius Andrade has a style that Canelo doesn't like. And Canelo can manipulate or mind, or mind mess with the zone. The zone is run by all white people. They not for black people. Eddie Hearn is just giving money to Danny Jacobs and Devin Haney and Demetrius Andrade. He just throwing the money just to fight nobody. Really, who over there eating? Danny Jacobs got a shot at Canelo. You know what I'm saying? But who really over there eating as a brother? Who is that? None of their fighters is getting promoted the right way. The network don't promote the fights. They put these fights on. They expect them to sell out. Canelo is the zone. Canelo get to do what he want to do over there, fight who he want to fight. Or I don't want to fight this guy. Or I want to do this. I want to do that. Triple G get to do the same thing over there. You know what I'm saying? They trying to build a network on 2 fighters that really Americans can care less about. Don't nobody care about a Canelo Triple G trilogy. In America, nobody. You seen him one, you seen it twice. Okay, what does it need a trilogy for? You know what I'm saying? When you pay somebody $35 million a fight, You know what I'm saying? You pay somebody $35 million a fight, you know you want to see the best fights going on. And Canelo he ain't fight nobody. Rocky Fielding. Who else he fought? Danny Jacobs, Kovalev. You know what I'm saying? I really don't care about none of them fights. You know what I'm saying? They tried to make an offer to Jamal Charlo. You know what? You know, it wasn't good enough. Okay, I respect him on that. Did make an offer. You know, he didn't take the 15 million. It is what it is, you know. But they refused to fight Demetrius Andrade. That's a good fight right there. That's better than all the other options you got right now. You know what I'm saying? Canelo's fighting at in the weight classes that is really no opposition. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna really campaign at 175. We all know that. He's not gonna watch. He's not gonna fight Arthur Perturbia. He's not gonna fight Dimitri Bivol. And every time you're dealing with Canelo, it's stipulations. If you're too small, he not gonna put a rehydration clause. If you're too big, he gonna put a rehydration clause. If everything is equal between the two as far as the size, then he got the judges, he got the officials, he got the commission. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is, man. It's not for undisputed, not this one. Remember, it depends on how you look at it. He lost his IBF belt, so it's not for undisputed at 160. But you know, for Demetrius Andrade, you know, he basically on his own just getting a free lunch pass. He basically just getting a free $4 million to do what he want to do. But you know what? About Demetrius Andrade, that's what he always wanted to do, though. You know, that's what he always wanted to do. Demetrius Andrade always wanted to fight. He always wanted to fight low profile fights for high rewards. High risk, low reward fight. I mean, high reward, low risk fights. You know, and now he getting at the end of his career. Now legacy is becoming something of the now for him. You know, he's 32, be 33 this year, whatever it is. Now Demetrius Andrade want to start at, you know, he want the big fights. Ronnie Boy, salute. Now Demetrius Andrade wants the big fights. But no, when you had the big fights there, you know, when you pulled out the Charlo and you and Laura start dancing around each other and all this other stuff, now Demetrius Andrade is stuck in a situation where on his own, they won't let they will not force Golovkin to fight. No, only time they made Golovkin fight was Derevchenko, and he almost got fucking killed that night. You know what I'm saying? That boy almost got killed that night. And now Golovkin, instead of the IBF doing the right thing and ordering a immediate rematch between Derevchenko and Triple G, you know, Triple G is about to fight a dude named Kamil Zamata, possibly, you know, in Kazakhstan or Chicago. Nobody care about that. Nobody care about Canelo Alvarez fighting Callum Smith or Billy Joe Saunders. But you know what? Every time they give the boxing world a shit sandwich and we eat it, they gonna keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? The way the zone is operating, man, they don't have a brain trust, a boxing brain trust. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a quality control guy they can turn down and say yes and no to fights. They approve anything Canelo say approve. If Canelo said approve a street bum off the street and give him a boxing license, the zone gonna do it. The zone is Canelo's platform, and that's why it'll never succeed. Canelo ain't never broke no pay-per-view records. You know what I'm saying? Canelo ain't no, he can't pull Vegas like Floyd can pull Vegas. Vegas don't need Canelo Alvarez, especially with the Raiders in time. And eventually they may get an NBA team. So Vegas will never need another boxer for real. Unless it's like a Floyd Mayweather type of thing. Vegas will never need another boxer once they get a pro basketball team. And then people say, well, this is Canelo's era. It's the worst era in boxing history. Under his watch. If you want to say this Canelo era, it's the worst era in boxing history on his watch. And that's something you proud of? People say, oh, LeBron is the greatest player of his era. It's the worst era in NBA history I've ever seen. It makes no sense why not Demetrius Andrade and Triple G. Triple G don't want to fight him. The zone don't make them do nothing. They can pay Triple G $14 million a fight in equity. For $14 million a fight, you know how much money they can do if Triple G fight 2 times a year? That's $28 million plus whatever equity they pay him. Let's say 28. For $28 million a fight, you can give Terrence Crawford $14 million. You can get Errol Spence $14 million to make a fight. For $14 million, for half of that, For $7 million, you can make Caleb Plant, David Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? You can guarantee that. It makes no sense. Francisco, what's going on? It makes no sense. And people say, "Oh, you hating on Canelo?" Man, it's like I've never, like really cared about Canelo fighting. To be honest, good fighter, but I've never said, "Oh, I gotta see Canelo fight." You know, like I said before, this is the point. The fighters that he fighting at this point, who cares? You know what I'm saying? The middleweight division, people say it's so great. No, it's not. Super middleweight, it's okay. The 175 light heavyweight, it's an international division. You know what I'm saying? If Canelo want to impress me, fight Gilberto Ramirez. You know what I'm saying? Fight Berturbia. Fight David Benavidez. Fight Caleb Plant. He tried to fight Jamal Charlo. You know what I'm saying? Fight some of those guys if you want to impress me. But if I'm paying somebody $35 million a night, he going to fight the best. But then again, it's strategic. It's strategic. Because if he lose, what value do he got? If Canelo don't have a handicap, what value do he get? And that's why it's probably one of the reasons why Jamal Charlo walked away. Jamal Charlo said, "You give me 20 or nothing. Because if you don't give me 20 million, I ain't doing it. I'm not selling I'm not selling my soul for $15 million." And one thing, if that's the honest truth, and Jamal come out and say it, or that's what he honestly thinking about, why he didn't take the Canelo fight, I can respect that. I can respect that. I can respect Jamal Charlo walking away from that type of money, knowing that he didn't have no chance to win, and saying that ain't enough. Because when you fight Canelo Alvarez, you fighting for a check. You're not gonna win. They're not gonna let you beat him. This ain't a fight by fight deal with HBO. You know. And Canelo's they going around acting like Canelo is really the king of boxing, and everybody that watch boxing know Crawford a better fighter. Some people think Errol Spence a better fighter. Some people think Joshua Deontay Wilder a better fighter. You know what I'm saying? And what Canelo fans don't want to talk about is how it's always stipulations with Canelo. Ever since Floyd made him fight at 152, he wanted to make everybody else bow to him. But the problem is he never earned it. He never earned it. You tell me where the Canelo paid his dues at. Beating up and fighting, bums in Mexico, beating up Ryan Rose, beating Matthew Haddon at a catchweight for his first title, beating up a old Shane Mosley, beating up on an old Miguel Cotto. You know what I'm saying? Where did he earn it though? Floyd earned it. You know what I'm saying? Floyd fighting in little Grand Rapids and going to Atlantic City, fighting on a Tour Gotti turf, fighting Diego Corrales. Floyd earned it. Gianardo Hernandez and fighting in Miami when none of the media came to see him fight. Floyd earned it. You know what I'm saying? Floyd worked hard, fighting Zab, fighting Baltimore. Floyd earned it. Canelo didn't earn shit. Pacquiao earned it. He had to be the executioner, all his epic fights with Marquez before, eventually getting knocked out. All the Morales, the Barrera fights, you know what I'm saying? Pacquiao earned it. Pacquiao earned the right to put, rehydration clause on dudes and catch weights. And, I don't agree with it. But you know what? Man, fucking Pacquiao, Pacquiao, he paid his dues. When did Canelo Alvarez ever pay his dues in boxing? He came into boxing with a silver spoon. It's kind of like a rich kid talking about I had it hard. You know what I'm saying? He never had it hard. Canelo was a manufactured star. He ain't never had a hard day in boxing in his life. Never. He never. I mean, his first title was a catchweight. How the fuck your first title is at a catchweight? That makes no sense. The first title you ever won at a catchweight. Beating up on Amir Khan, beating up on Josito Lopez, beating up on Alfonso Gomez, beating up on Matthew welterweights, bro. Matter of fact, motherfucking Amir Khan started off at 35. Lopez started off at 140. He had no problems beating up on welterweights. You know what I'm saying? And Gulo Kirkland was both. They had already had a war with each other. You know what I'm saying? And they talk about what some of the things that is going on off outside the boxing ring. Well, Canelo, people forget, oh boy, best with Canelo girlfriend, the little paperweight, and he beat him up in the bar before the Austin Trout fight. So Canelo ain't squeaky clean. He beat up a flyweight, a paperweight, because he banged this chick. People forget that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So he got his issues outside the ring. But the zone want to make him the face of their company. It's not gonna work. It's not Floyd Mayweather. It's not Oscar De La Hoya. He's not them. He not them. Good fighter. Don't get me wrong. Canelo is a good fighter, but it ain't nothing special. He ain't a top junior middleweight I ever seen. He ain't a top middleweight I ever seen. He ain't a top 68 pounder I ain't seen. He ain't the top 75 I ain't seen. Some fucking strawweight banged this girl. I forget the dude, man. This shit about 10 years ago. Real start. Come on, Canelo ain't 10 of they're not top 10 of the greatest junior middleweights of all time. You know what I'm saying? You talking about Terry Norris, Julian Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Trinidad. Keep going on and on with names at there. I think Wiki Wright. So many people came through that division. You go to 160, he ain't even top 20. Golovkin not top 20. You know what I'm saying? If Canelo Alvarez, wasn't an orange-haired Mexican fighter, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck would he be at? If he was a brother, this dude had about 5, 6, 7 losses. Is he from the UK and he fought outside the UK and came to America? He had 5, 6, 7 losses. People act like the computer situation didn't happen with him. But brothers quick to jump on Terrence Crawford. The other brothers quick to jump on Errol Spence. You got other brothers quick to jump on Deontay Wilder. But don't nobody sit here and they let Canelo get away with murder. Last time I checked, Joshua, Wilder, Crawford, Spence ain't never failed the drug test. Last time I checked, none of them really ever had robberies. Like corruption. I mean like corruption. I mean like when Mayweather outbox you 12 rounds to none and you get a draw. You know what I'm saying? When you talking about every one of your big fights being like close, like the Trout, the Lara, the Cotto, the Golovkin fight, every one of his big fights is close, and people saying, well, he's a Hall of Famer. Like, no, I'm not mad if he's a Hall of Famer. I'm saying that, but he not Oscar De La Hoya. He not Oscar De La Hoya. But you know what? When you go out here in this boxing world, all these boxers just suck down. Oh, he's the best, and Canelo's the greatest, and this, that, and the third. And you see all these black fighters just say, "Oh, Canelo." You see Angel Garcia. I love Canelo and stuff of that nature. But if you think about it, you look at Angel Garcia. Imagine if your son, failed the computer raw test, and what they say about Danny. You see Adrian Broner sucking down Canelo. You know what I'm saying? You see all these brothers sucking down Canelo Alvarez. It's the same thing. It's the Eminem effect. Fred, what's going on? It's the Eminem effect. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? They get Rakim out here. Oh, say he Eminem good. They get Reggie Noble out here, which is Redman. Oh, Eminem is good. They get all these black people to co-sign. Oh, Eminem is the best, and this, that, and the third. And these dudes don't even know what they're doing, because if they was in the same situation as Eminem, you know what I'm saying, or as Canelo, and some of these inconsistencies that people have or disconnects people have about these guys, they wouldn't give Jadakiss, Rakim, they wouldn't give Angel and Danny Garcia the benefit of the doubt. They wouldn't give these dudes the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, you always seeing, other nationalities, and I mean mainly black people, but Angel Garcia is Euro Puerto Rican. You always seeing these other nationalities cap for the other. You know what I'm saying? They cap for Eminem, they cap for Canelo Alvarez, but they don't stick their neck out. They don't stick their neck out for dudes like Canelo. They don't stick their neck out for dudes like Terrence Crawford. Just look at fucking Gervonta Davis. He ain't never got nothing good to say about Terrence Crawford, right? But he always sucking down Canelo. Oh, Canelo's the best, and Canelo's one of the greatest fighters out here today, and this, that, and the third. And I love Canelo. Oh, Wilder fights like a time girl and stuff of that nature. I'm telling you, it's the same. It's the same effect. It's no different. The mindset is not changed. We just talking about Two different sides of entertainment. We talking about boxing. We talking about rap. When you talking about Eminem and Canelo Alvarez, it's a lot of parallels, other than the racism. And I can bet you a pretty penny Canelo Alvarez probably don't like niggas. I tell you that right now. I tell you that right now. And yeah, Canelo has one of those cult fan bases. In boxing, you don't get you get those. You got Anthony Joshua, Errol Spence, Canelo Alvarez is one of the biggest ones. In rap, you got Eminem, you got Drake. You can't say nothing about Eminem and Drake. Can't say nothing about them. You say something about Eminem. Oh, I thought MGK this was better. Oh, you was an Eminem hater. You say something about Drake. Drake be somebody rock Drake music. Oh man, you a Drake hater. Say something about Canelo. Oh, you a Canelo hater. You can't say nothing. Oh, he ate some bad meat. That computer raw don't count. Oh, he edged out Laura. It is what it is. So you can't really get mad at a Jamal Charlo for not selling his soul. You know what I'm saying? You can't get mad at Jamal Charlo. When you look at it, you can get mad at him not fighting Demetrius Andrade for $10 million. But you can't get mad at Charlo for going over there and knowing that he don't have a chance to beat Canelo. But from a different aspect, everything Canelo doing and edging out just making Floyd legacy look better for Floyd. But at least in some of Floyd big fights, he stopped people. He stopped Arturo Gotti. He stopped Diego Chavez. I think he stopped Gernardo Hernandez. Who has Canelo ever stopped? Top shelf. When who has he ever popped to pop over some top shelf liquor? When he ever popped, 1738. You know what I'm saying? When he ever popped some Louis the 13th. You know what I'm saying? When has he ever really popped a top shelf fighter? None. All his fights are nip and tuck, close, disputable. Canelo ain't never blew no top opposition out the water. He ain't never had a Roy Jones, James Toney performance. He ain't never had a James Toney, Michael Nunn performance. When he in a tough fight and he pull a rabbit out of his ass and knock somebody else out at the last second. He never had that before. He never had a Floyd and Arturo Gotti performance. They keep going on and on about it. But it's taboo. It's taboo to talk about Canelo Alvarez. It's taboo to nitpick Canelo Alvarez. See, look here, I don't need no credentials. Fuck Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy with an AIDS dick. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of these black channels begging Oscar. Forget Canelo. I don't want to be around no damn Canelo Alvarez fight. For what? Ain't no spectacle to me. I ain't into, Mamacita, Mexican women. I don't see a lot of them. They beautiful, don't get me wrong. But I ain't trying to be around an arena of Mexican people, watching the Canelo Alvarez fight. Now if you can bring back Chavez Sr., yeah, I'd like to see him fight in his prime. I like to be in that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? You can bring back Salvador Sanchez. Oh yeah, I like to see them. But these new ones, I'm straight. I'm straight on these new Mexican motherfuckers. I'm straight on all these fighters. I don't feel the obligation to feel regretted if I don't see these fighters fight. Now I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have seen Kobe play. Okay. Oh man, I got to see LeBron play. Okay. Oh man, I wish I would have seen Dan Marino throw the football. Joe Montana throw the football. Okay, that's regrettable. I wish I seen Wayne Gretzky. I wish I could see Usain Bolt running in the relay. But I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't get that feeling about Canelo Alvarez. I don't feel like I'm missing out on a generational talent, and I don't get that from none of these fighters. If I die and go to my sick bed, I don't have no regrets about not seeing none of these motherfuckers fight. I don't in person. I don't have no regrets about them not hugging them, not getting an autograph. None of it's this a bad era in boxing. Too much politics. Oh man, hey Drew, you going a little bit crazy, bro. Don't block mad, bro. Hold on. Yeah, you going a little bit too ham, bro. Niggas can have their opinions, man. As long as they don't use no bad words. Hold on. Yeah, don't block. Hold on. Okay, cool. He back. Yeah, don't hide, bro. He cool people. Yeah, you fooling. You going a little bit too hard in the paint with that wrench player. Damn, then y'all time the nigga out. Damn, y'all fooling. But yeah, you know about Canelo, it is what it is. You know, for the for the zone to say that Demetrius Andrade ain't a good enough opponent. I mean, the zone needs a quality control guy. I mean, I know the zone print money, but the way they going on, the way they going, the zone not gonna be here too much longer. And if the zone disband and they bankrupt, it's gonna be because Canelo and Golovkin. Even when Canelo and Golovkin fighting the trilogy, the zone act like that's gonna bring in like 20 million subscribers. It's not. We moved on from Canelo Triple G. You know what I'm saying? We moved on from that. You know what I'm saying? If we're not doing nothing. What you get Canelo, what you really paying for? You're not getting what you got with Oscar. When Oscar fought, you got all the Mexican Americans. You got some of the Americans, from the Arabs to the blacks to the whites. And you got a lot of the Mexicans. With Canelo, you getting like the Mexicans, some Mexican Americans, but really you not getting a large portion of Americans to fight. De La Hoya was a real star. De La Hoya was Las Vegas. De La Hoya, Trinidad, De La Hoya, Pernell, Cortez. You keep going. When De La Hoya fought, Felix Sturm, it was a spectacle. Vegas ain't got that same feeling no more. And eventually, the zone is probably going to go bankrupt, or they probably going to pull their money back. And it's going to be interesting to see where Canelo Alvarez is going to go at this point in his career. I just can't see the zone sitting here charging $20 a month, and they only doing 500,000. The guesstimation of Stephen S. knows they're doing around 500, 550,000 subscribers a month. That's not enough money. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. You got a production team you got to pay. The CEOs got to eat. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay for it. It's a lot going on. Canelo speaks no English. That's his flaw with him. He speaks English. He just don't want to lose his Mexican hardcore card. But they do what they want to do. But for the zone to say don't approve of Demetrius Andrade fight, that was the best fight to make. I mean, who honestly, let's ask a question in the chat real quick. Who would you rather see? Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, or Demetrius Andrade fight Canelo? Which one would y'all rather see out the three? Smith, Andrade, or Billy Joe versus Canelo Alvarez? That's the question. Because if he picked Callum Smith, at least you get Demetrius Andrade and Billy Joe. But to be honest, the Billy Joe Saunders fight, it don't really tell me much. The Billy Joe Saunders fight don't tell me much for Demetrius Andrade. What's the best win for Billy Joe Saunders? Chris Eubanks Jr., David Lemieux, who just injured himself again, and Willie Monroe, right? Those are probably the three best wins he got. They share a opponent, Okova. Okova gave Billy Joe hell. But Billy Joe and Demetrius Andrade don't really tell me much about each other. Demetrius Andrade best wins is Vanes Monterosian, Willie Nelson, and probably Jack Colcly. Billy Joe and Demetrius Andrade is one ugly ass fight. That's an ugly ass fight. That fight gonna look like it's gonna be sloppy. It's gonna be ugly. You know what to think about it. It proves nothing. Beating Billy Joe is just he ain't that good. Beating Demetrius Andrade, he ain't did enough yet. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? That shit gonna look like Willie Monroe and Billy Joe Saunders. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a sloppy fight. That's gonna be one of the worst fights you can see. If you watch Willie Monroe versus Billy Joe Saunders, you know what I'm talking about. That's gonna be a terrible fight to make. Sloppy. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, man, they let Canelo run their company into the ground. You know what? If Canelo not gonna fight better fighters, then why would give him that much money? Canelo and Charlo is the money fight. Well, Charlo don't want it right now. For whatever reason it is, if he don't want to sell his soul or whatever, he don't want it right now. So you can't force Canelo to fight Jamal Charlo. But that is the best fight to be made for him at 60 and 68, unless you're talking about David Benavidez. But he don't want to fight David Benavidez. Lemieux was a good. Lemieux ain't really done nothing. Lemieux got stopped by Marco Antonio Rubio. Never forget that fight. He got parked. You know what I'm saying? Neither one of them going to the Hall of Fame, but you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be some watered down shit in boxing for a while. And the zone complicated things when people thought that when people thought that when people thought that HBO was getting out the game, people was like, well, okay, cool. We only got two networks to deal with. And then the zone fills the void. You know what I'm saying? The zone could have just stayed where the hell they was at. You know what I'm saying? If we was gonna get the zone, we might as well kept HBO, right? And the zone has done nothing but complicate things. You know what? Devin Haney, Danny Jacobs, they gave everybody an out. It gave us too much boxing. And like Lou DiBella said, now if we had a higher quality of this too much boxing, of a higher quality of this quantity of boxing, then cool. But throwing on your Dennis Hughes and Mike Dallas one week, and the week before throwing on that weak ass DAZN card with the YouTube fight on that, and Rosario and J Rock didn't look good on paper, but it is what it is. Throwing on that weak ass Danny Garcia Ivan Redcash fight. Does the quantity really matter if the quality is such low grade? If it's a D grade quality fights, you know what I'm saying? Instead of having all these potential fight dates, if these dudes work together, you have a higher quality of card. You know what I'm saying? All right, we do this fight on your network. You don't do this fight on this network. It's gonna be better for boxing if the zone get out of there. If it's down to ESPN and Premier Boxing Champions, then that's what it is. But a lot of dudes don't want to swallow their pride and grab their nuts and say, "Al, man, you was right," or "Bob, you was right." It's too much boxing. It's too much. Now, if we getting fights like I don't know, like Wilder Fury 2, and let's just say right now I talk about Gervonta and one second, Gervonta and Leo, and we getting fights like Valdez and Pritchett, or then we getting we getting those type of fights on a regular basis, and Danny and Earl, and Charlo and Rosario's, and the Teixeira and Castanos, and I'll talk about that fight in 1 minute. We getting those type of fights, you know what I'm saying? Cool. But it's just too much low grade fights. What's up, Joseph? He said, I picked Fury to stop Wilder in the first fight. Now Fury KO box is turned on. I don't know about that. PBC needs their own ball. How they acting with boxing, right? Yeah, they doing what Corian. They doing what Top Rank did 10 years ago on HBO. DeBella should shift his talent to the show and he's been exiled from Showtime and PBC. I bet Fury won't go to the body. I mean, 6'9". 6'9". Lou a match fixing cherry picker. Well, he matches fighters pretty tough. You see, Derevchenko fought Clyde in a tough fight. Torian Johnson in a tough fight. You know what I'm saying? Lou. I mean, Regis Progress was in. Well, he was in a tournament, but it is what it is. With Canelo Alvarez, you know, it is what it is. He over there and he getting his money. He ain't worried about what Rushton thinking or what Skipper thinking. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, I don't know what Callum Smith and Billy Joe. I don't know what they fan base is scream. To be honest, I don't know if it's gonna be a ton of Brits coming over for Billy Joe, a ton of Brits coming over for Callum Smith, but Callum and Billy Joe and Callum versus Canelo, Billy Joe versus Canelo, that doesn't scream like a Vegas fight. They should have did this at the Barclays Centers or Tenay Round. What's going on? Or They should have done this at Madison Square Garden, but let's move on. Uh, all right, Gervonta Tank Davis is probably going to be sitting down a while. It came out that the police have additional footage of him putting his hands on old girl. So she had facial injuries, a jaw injury. So basically, when Gervonta snatched her up to the back, according to TMZ Sports, is that Gervonta put hands on her right in the back of whatever basketball celebrity game they was at, and they said they got it on camera and that she is cooperating with the investigation and that Gervonta probably gonna have to sit down and do some classes and maybe even have to do some jail time with the situation. This after he came out and said he never would do that on Instagram. All of a sudden, his social media was taken down. At least on Twitter, I'm not sure on Instagram if it was or wasn't taken down. So, Gervonta Davis is probably going to destroy his career, with his baby mama. In word to the wise, to all the young men out there, stay single, play the field, wrap up. And that's what it is, man. You living in the ages of, what I'm saying, non-relationships. What I'm saying? Just stay casual. Always let your women know what their place is. Or you got AG, he left IG as well. Always let the women know what their place is. Don't lie. You let you know, like, we just kicking it. I don't want nothing else but to kick it. You know what I'm saying? Relationships is not where it's at. No matter how good or how bored you feel, it's not worth it. The greater people out here and the greater women out here is not worth it. It's not worth it. No, I don't think he punched. No, not Ari, his baby mama. It's not worth it. But now that opens the door for Leo Santa Cruz to do something else. Um, that was the door for Leo to do something else. So right now, Gary Russell got a tough fight versus King Tug this weekend. He can get past Tug this weekend, then it actually opens the door for Leo Santa Cruz and Gary Russell. Now, Jojo Diaz called out Leo Santa Cruz, even though he has a cut on his eye and he owes Devin Farmer a rematch, right? But if Al Heyman send Leo Santa Cruz over to the zone, or he lets Jojo Diaz come over to Premier Boxing Champions again to fight Leo Santa Cruz, and he don't feed Gary Russell to Leo Santa Cruz, I mean, what more can you say about it? What's going on, BK9? What more can you say about it? Because in the month of May, you was going to get Canelo versus one of the guys I mentioned, Smith or Billy Joe. You was going to get Burchett and Oscar Valdez May 9th. You was going to get Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko. You was going to get Leo Santa Cruz and get Gervonta Davis. All this was going to happen in May. All this was going to happen in May. So at the end of the day, right now, with Gervonta Tank Davis is in no position to fight on pay-per-view. He ain't in no position to fight, period. And I don't think Gervonta want to be a fighter. I don't. A lot of these dudes don't love the game. They don't love boxing. It just ain't the money. They not into it. No matter if Gervonta Davis ain't got another way to make $1 million. They love the lifestyle. They love being. They want to be rappers. They want to be celebrities. They want to find another way to make these ends other than fight. Tank want to be a reality star. Tank want to be a celebrity. Tank want to be a rapper. Tank don't want to box. He don't want to. He don't want to use the gifts God gave him. And a boxer's lifestyle is hard, man. I got a friend. His son don't box no more. He just stopped. You know what I'm saying? But the fighter's lifestyle is hard. So you respect people that came up from the amateurs that 8 years old, 10, 12 years old, 15 years old, and 10, 15 years later, they still here. 20 years later, they still here. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard to keep doing it, especially when it starts to pay dividends. But, with him out the way, why not make Gary Russell and Leo Santa Cruz? That's a good fight. They can do it at 26 in the unification bout. They can do it at 30. You know what I'm saying? And ain't no point. And if Al Heyman don't make that fight next, man, like I said before, it's time to cancel him, like Nino Brown. Banco Boxer, what's going on? It's time to cancel him. Y'all subscribe to Banco Boxer channel. It's time to cancel him. You know what I'm saying? Al Heyman is in the midst of selling Premier Boxing Champions, but I still imagine that he's still gonna run it. Kind of like Dana White selling the UFC and still running it. But if he allowed JoJo Diaz to come over and get a crack at Leo Santa Cruz before Gary, or he'll allow Leo to do anything else, it's a joke. It's a joke. Because how you want to fight Gervonta Davis and not Gary Russell? That makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? That makes no sense. Gary Russell stay in the gym. Gary Russell very respectful. Gary Russell, he live a clean fighter lifestyle. Gary Russell got a wife. Gary Russell got a respectable father. He got respectable brothers that box. You know what I'm saying? You see Al Haymon putting all these other prospects on. He pushing Joey Pen. He's pushing. Excuse me. He's pushing Joey Spencer like a number 2 pencil in the pencil sharpener, right? But he ain't pushing Gary Russell, little brother. And he one of the best prospects in boxing. Gary Russell, little brother, fighting on like Chitlin circuit cards, and you know what I'm saying? He doing the Chitlin circuit like Devin Haney was doing, early in his career before he got on Showbox and he got with Eddie Hearn. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate, dude. They play their favorites, man. The only reason that Al Haymon was gonna put Leo Santa Cruz in with Gervonta Davis is because of Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather friendship was stronger than his friendship with Leo Santa Cruz. You know what I'm saying? Gary Russell said he would like to fight more than once a year. It's just that nobody want to fight him. And now he's talking about I'm going to jump up 2 weight classes. Rigondeaux Jr. with mac sauce on it. Rigondeaux Jr. with mac sauce on it. And Al Haymon do all these things for Gervonta. He do all these things for Adrian Broner. Pay their lawyer fees. Get them out of trouble. Keep working with them. You know what I'm saying? He do all these things for him. And, Gary Russell don't get no trouble. Santa Cruz, he losing money fucking with Santa Cruz. I mean, I can see if Santa Cruz like Canelo, he getting, to at least 10, he a cash cow. Santa Cruz, ain't nobody checking him out. Santa Cruz ain't breaking no TV records. Santa Cruz ain't no knockout. Ain't nobody checking for Santa Cruz. You know what I'm saying? Just like the top rank protected Oscar Valdez from protected Oscar Valdez from Shakur Stevenson. Don't make no sense, do it? Don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? They protecting all these Mexican fighters. That ain't shit. This ain't Chavez. This ain't Grelo, Elastic Man. This ain't the Tapia. This ain't the smaller Canelo down there. They legitimately protecting small Mexicans that's making $500,000, $750,000. You know what I'm saying? These niggas ain't making $3, $4, $5 million a fight. It makes no sense for not to make these fights happen. They show pushing Joey Spencer, harder than Gary Russell, little brother. Joey Spencer on TV, and he been regressing his last few fights. They ain't got no problem paying Joey Spencer money, but they don't want to put the money up for Jaron Ennis. What? Come on. Lomachenko get all this protection, bro. Like he Donald Trump, walking through the hood. He get all this protection. What has he done? Lomachenko ain't no cash cow. You will swear the way they promote Lomachenko, okay? Feel me. You will swear the way they protect Lomachenko, this nigga was filling up Cowboy Stadium. Come on. They said this dude sold like 500 tickets when he fought Anthony Corella in LA. Come on. Come on. Lomachenko, what? Come on, man. Lomachenko is not selling out nothing. They treat Lomachenko like a cash cow, but he not. He don't pull no tickets. He don't put no asses in the seats. All this promotion they doing for Lomachenko is not doing nothing. Crawford is getting half the promotion. You know what I'm saying? And he pulling more, and he making more of a profit. It's all racial. And people say they act like Bob Arum and Al Haymon is different. They differ from a lot of aspects, Al don't rob his fighters. You know what I'm saying? To our knowledge, but they both the same. They both play into the boxing narrative of the brown fighter is the most precious fighter. But it's different now because the brown fighter, Mexicans wanted to fight. You have to protect them. Don King had to protect Chavez from certain opponents, but he took the fights. The Taylors, the Randalls, the Whitakers. He fought these dudes. De La Hoya he fought when he was older. You know what I'm saying? He fought these. They wanted to fight. But now, what's going on? Will Stay Real TV. Y'all subscribe to his channel. But now, these Mexican fighters don't want to fight nobody. Alexander Wilson Hearn said he lost money on Loma and Campbell. I can believe it. Appreciate the super chat. So think about it for a minute. He lost money. And imagine how much money Bob Arum losing. But these new brown fighters, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to fight nobody. You ain't got to protect them from nobody. You ain't got to protect them from themselves. You ain't got to protect them from fighter A, fighter. They don't want to fight nobody. You think Valdez is supposed to be a man? Like, you know what? I'll fight Shakur Stevenson. Fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna get paid that much money to get your ass beat by Miguel Burchett, they'd rather lose to each other than a brother. But then when a brother get on top like Floyd Mayweather, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden Mayweather ducking everybody. But when Mayweather was coming up, ain't none of these dudes want to fight him. BK Don, appreciate the super chat. See, when motherfuckers like Shakur Stevenson, he make it to the top, and everybody, oh, Shakur don't want to fight me, he ducking me. But when we had the opportunity to fight, you ain't want to fight. I'll do this. I'll do the same thing. I'll do the exact same thing with Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Mares and some of these other fighters that he got. You know what I'm saying? You know, but Gary Russell and Santa Cruz, that gotta happen now. Gervonta gonna sit down for a minute. No, truth be told, man, he might get so out of shape sitting down for a minute, he may not fight again. He may not fight again. Gervonta might be so far gone when he come back. If he don't come back this year, they gonna put him on probation. They gonna put him on obviously papers. They gonna take all these classes. And if he missed the classes, he missed probation. Only thing that's gonna motivate Gervonta to come back is when that money get funny. That's it. Floyd Mayweather to Gervonta is like that dad that wants you to play baseball, or that dad that's forced you to play football, or that dad that's forced you to play basketball. You know what I'm saying? That's what Floyd Mayweather like to Gervonta. I think Floyd is forcing Gervonta to be a boxer. Gervonta don't want to fight. If Floyd Mayweather never came along and Gervonta had to do the chitlin circuit like Devin Haney, Gervonta wouldn't have made it. Gervonta would be in the hood doing whatever he need to do in the hood. Quan, what's going on? Gervonta, if Floyd wasn't pushing for Gervonta to fight, or Adrian wasn't pushing for Gervonta to fight, Gervonta would be back in the hood. Gervonta wouldn't have made it through the chitlin circuit. Gervonta wouldn't have made it through the chitlin circuit. You know what I'm saying? Gervonta wouldn't have made it through the chitlin circuit like Timothy Bradley and Floyd Mayweather had to make it through. You know what I'm saying? If Gervonta was with Bob Arum and Bob Arum would treat him like Verdejo and let him train on his own and go back to the island and train, Gervonta would never be on weight. A lot of dudes would cut tops with Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank would be done. Tank don't have self will or self discipline. Excuse me, I want to say will. He don't have discipline. Gervonta don't want to fight. Gervonta just want to be a celebrity. Gervonta, that's why. Like I said before, man, don't be surprised if you don't see this kid fight again. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. And he ain't even made no real money yet. I can see if he made expense money, you know, went on pay-per-view, made a couple million, 5, 6, 7, 10, 13, 20 times. He ain't got enough money for his lifestyle. He ain't got enough money to make it. Without Mayweather, he don't make it. Without Mayweather, he don't make it. And I'm not saying that Floyd is the reason he can fight. Without Floyd, he don't make it. Because Floyd and them been probably cover some shit up for him. Floyd and them, they put him in the best position he can be put in. Not as far as matchmaking, but most promoters would have washed their hands with Tank. Missing weight and all that shit, man. Bob Arum would have said, fuck this dude. That's what he did with Andy Ruiz. That's why Andy Ruiz wasn't fighting over there. Andy Ruiz is just a loud, lazy, fat motherfucker. I don't want him at top rank. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth. Ain't no promoter about to keep putting up with these dudes. Ain't no promoters about to keep putting up with this dude. De La Hoya he'd have been the shelf Tank ass off the stupid shit Tank done did. He'd been the shelf that dude. But we'll see if he can come back stronger. In the meantime, I don't see him fighting Santa Cruz next. Santa Cruz gonna take some type of fucking bum bash. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Santa Cruz gonna fight some type of fucking bum bash. When he can fight Gary Russell, just get it out. You got one loss to Carl Frampton. Carl Frampton didn't want it. None of these dudes wanted to fight the man. I don't get it. Like, Gary Russell a good fighter, but I don't see him like unbeatable. If him and Tank was getting the ring together, I thought that Tank would beat him. Like, what's the point? It's a big fight in your area. You know what I'm saying? They could have did the Barclays Centers. They could have did Royal Farms again. They could have did Atlanta, him and Gary Russell. Like I said before, it'd be interesting to see what Leo Santa Cruz, do next. He talked about fighting Lomachenko. I beat Gary Russell. I beat Adrian Broner in the amateurs. Well, what about Gary Russell? He said Santa Cruz about to fight Joey Gonzalez next. And they be giving this nigga Fox time cards, and they be giving him Showtime. He was on ESPN. Remember, he fought Abner Mars in the first fight on ESPN. Like I said before, ain't too many fighters Al Haymon treat better than Leo Santa Cruz. You know what I'm saying? I think he was going to fight Tank at 30 or at catchweight. But it ain't going to happen now. What you think about Tank and Rigo at 30? Hell no. Rigo can't make no damn 30. Rigo going back down to 120. Fuck he at now? He going down to 118 at the Saturday night. Bushido, what's going on? Y'all should got the Bushido boxing. Yeah, Tank going back down to ring it out after this weekend, going down to 122. 118. We all know amateurs don't translate to pros. Nope. Ruiz out here giving Andy Reid a run for his money. Oh wow. Remember, Gervonta said years ago, Mayweather Promotions don't believe he was ready for Pedraza. He said he didn't believe he was ready for Pedraza. That's what he said. Tank is a natural welterweight, and he's draining himself 35. He's just short. A lot of dudes is not natural where they weight class. Errol Spence ain't no natural welterweight. Keith Thurman ain't no natural welterweight. Canelo was at motherfucking 54 trying to be a welterweight for a long time. Canelo should have been at middleweight. A lot of these dudes is the Vertes at this point, but Rigondeaux moving down after this weekend. I heard. Maybe it's changed. See, he didn't see Loma dominate Rigondeaux and make him quit. Yeah, Rigondeaux was too small. Anybody watch that fight, no? Many dudes cutting 30, 40. Yeah, many. Tank could get pulverized at 47. He too short. He had to fight really like Iron Mike Tyson. So y'all condoning Tank to fight small. Man, Tank ain't gonna be fighting for a while. He ain't gonna be fighting for a minute. You know what I'm saying? But you make mistakes, you live and you learn. Society has a different set of rules for black men. And men in general, you know what I'm saying, to a certain extent, for basically black men. It's a different set of parameters, and we gotta be perfect. We can't make no mistakes. We can't get caught with no weed. We gotta be perfect. And one time you make a mistake, it's a permanent record, a permanent mark on your record, no matter what it is. You miss your kid baseball game because you had other things to do. You had to be at work. You said you came late. It's a permanent marker, and they're never gonna forget it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to remember that. You know, that's why Future. That's why Future probably moved the way he moved. Like, I know I ain't shit. I don't give a fuck. Fuck these kids. You know what I'm saying? That's why Future moved. Burchett and Russsell. That's a difficult fight right there. Burchett is probably the best 130 pounder right now going. Don Banks said Tank gonna be 200 pounds by December with no fights for real. Yep. Gary Coleman Turner. Burchett can Tank and a cash off. That really don't make no money though. I mean, it could. You know, if they can build him up a little bit. You know, Burchett already been stopped before. So in the back, when you always been stopped, you know, it's always a chance for somebody that can punch. He got stopped by a guy Jamel Herring beat. Big guy, he got stopped at 26. I forget the dude's name. 35 is Tank highest weight. 40 have to pick his battles like a small army. Honestly, I would have liked to see Leo versus Tank at 30. The way Tank looked, I gave Leo. Everybody's changed their mind and gave Leo a chance. Well, I thought Tank was gonna come in more motivated. You know, I thought he was gonna come in more motivated, in my opinion, and stop Leo at some point. But you know, it is what it is. But you know, Russsell and Santa Cruz, that should be the fight. Y'all can ask questions. I'll get into Q&A. What you think about Tank and AB at 37? When today, man, at their best at 35, you know, I ain't seen enough of Tank at 35. At 26, I don't know. Yeah, you know, you got to see how Tank career unraveled. I thought he was a better fighter than AB was because he move his hands a lot more than AB did down there. But AB might end up being a better fighter. Tank's a young knucklehead, but we all have made mistakes, been there before. People are straight hypocrite. Yup. Tank was going to sleep Leo. Yeah, I believe that was going to be the ultimate outcome. Tank having to outside problems. Yep. Tank ain't fight a soul we wanted to see fight. No. Off style Tank don't throw combinations like that. No, he good. He move his hands more than Broner though. Who you got with? I don't even know what the fuck that is. And JoJo Diaz. Who is that? Tabakaka. I don't know. You gotta rewrite that, Corian. Y'all know Tank had that pop. Who else had that pop other than him and T.O.? Yeah, that pop can get you in trouble though, especially when somebody can take your power. Who should Fane Haney fight next? Shit, ain't nobody to fight. Everybody fighting each other. I mean, everybody fighting each other. I had to look. What's up with fight night? You heard they ain't doing no fight night. That ain't gonna happen. I'll explain that in a minute. They ain't doing no fight night. Give me 1 minute. Let me look into answer the Haney question. Cool man said, man, salute. Everybody tied up. I mean, he can try to pick up Richard Comey and rewatch him. You know, Linares is going to be probably fighting Ryan Garcia on the Canelo undercard. And shit, ain't nobody to fight for. Tuna and Campbell fighting each other. He had to fight the winner to get his belt back. I mean, Rancis Bartholomew, I think he back at 40. Gamboa leg toe up. He just need to move up, to be honest. Ain't shit there for him. Devin Haney just need to move up. Yeah, the reason they ain't gonna do another fight night because they got to get the copyrights to every fighter to be in the game. So when you do those, you got to get the copyrights to Deontay Wilder. You got to get the rights to Mike Tyson. You got to get the rights to Errol Spence. You got to go to each individual fighter and get the rights. You know what I'm saying? So in UFC, Dana White owns all the rights to the fighters. So Dana White say, okay, I own Ronda Rousey, Holly Holmes, John Jones, you know what I'm saying? Khabib, Usman, Cormier and Steve. I own all the rights. So Dana White can just sign over all the rights to his fighters and it's done. With a boxing game, you have to go to each individual fighters to get their rights. You want Larry Holmes in the game? You got to go Larry Holmes in the game. You got Mike Tyson? You got to go Mike Tyson. Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. You got to go to each one of those fighters. Danny Garcia, Errol Spence, Trinidad, Sugar Ray Leonard, Gerald McClellan, Oh yeah, I got each one of those fighters, Roy Jones, to get him on the game, and it probably ain't cheap. I remember it was a story that Mayweather wanted a X amount of money to be on the video game, so that ain't happening. Why Gary Russell and the Cuban fighter never fought each other? The one who fought Loma, 2 different weight classes. Rigondeaux jumped up 2 weight classes. He back at 122. It's not easy knocking out an in-shape fighter who never been stopped or even knocked down. You sparked the nerve over with the local dummy box community. I did. What's new? It's about to be a lot of nerves sparking now. The pop wouldn't looking like that. He said that pop wasn't looking like shit against Gamboa. Yeah, he did move up in weight. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you move up in weight, you got to make adjustments. You got to throw combinations. You got to, you got to use more lateral move. It depends when you move up. Floyd, he fought different. He sat down on all his punches more when he moved up in weight. Looked it up and didn't find any info on the fight night. Yeah, they ain't coming. I told y'all they ain't coming back. I don't know why stream just stopped. Man said that's why Future moved the way he moved. For real, bro. You the enemy in somebody's story, bro. That's real shit. You can be as good as you want to people, man, and people still paint you to be out like shit. People expect, men to be perfect. Women don't expect to be perfect. The kids don't expect women to be perfect. When shit don't happen, everybody looking at the men. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. I think Haney should just go into 40. Eddie said they was only F35. Yeah, go to 40. Boxing today is filled with a bunch of beta. Yeah, it's because of the managers and the promoters are pimping the fighters. They're talking about out of fighting who they need to fight. None of these dudes gonna have good legacy. Hooker said he win every round versus Josh Taylor. Yeah, I seen that. He crazy. He basically said because he ain't a small man like Regis Prograis. Hooker get his ass whooped. It'll be some difficult getting inside that reach, but he don't maintain this. He don't use his reach the right way. You know what I'm saying?